Good afternoon again, guys. I'm back. So it's 5 p.m. Let's do this thing. So today I want to talk about in this training the 4 steps that it takes to recover or heal and then move on in our lives from the discard trauma. So yesterday we talked about the 4 mistakes, the 4 principal mistakes. I've got my little notes here to keep me on track. Denying the power and denying the gift that you be, the brilliance and power that you be. That's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is denying your power. It's where we keep ourselves stuck in that crafted and self-created helplessness and powerlessness. Step number 3, making yourself wrong. And step number 4, confusing approval with love and value. These 4 mistakes paint the pathway out of the discard cycle. It enables us to see that we have power. Once we acknowledge that these things are really happening for us, we can change them. How do we change them? That's what we're going to talk about today. And really what we're going to focus on is what they need to become, okay? And tomorrow, then I'll connect you with resources and processes and make that easy and quick for you so that you don't have to go out there and run around in a therapy loop, with self-help loop, languishing in the desert of self-help, trying to make this work. Instead, if you want the fast way, you'll want to get on with your life, get into your happiness. I've got the proven process and pathway for you. All right. So the 4 steps that help us go from being discarded to being kept in our lives. Step number 1, we need to embrace the gift that we be. Okay. So this one's kind of obvious. Like, ooh, I embrace me. Now this can be a big challenge. Embracing ourselves is not necessarily something that's easy to do because we have been conditioned to reference ourselves through shame, okay? So we have a need, shame. We feel shame for it. We have a want, we feel shame for it. We're different than someone else, we feel shame for it. Or fear or guilt or fatigue about it, okay? This is a conditioned, what's called reference point for us, and this is what we have to reprogram. Fundamentally in all of this, behind the scenes here, this reference point is a large one, and I call that the governing value. The governing value is basically what we constantly look to in order to understand our relationship to something else. So if I had a relationship or a governing value of shame and somebody expressed interest in me, then the shame would say, she's not going to like you. Not gonna like who you are. What do you think you are? You think you can do that? That's just no. And then I clam up and walk away. But if my governing value is love, then it's gonna say, yeah, let's get to know her. Let's see what's going on there. Maybe we have a fit. We'll find out. See, the governing value determines how we respond to things going on around us and within us. So embracing the gift that we be requires us to release the current governing value. If it's not love, it's typically shame, and then begin to integrate love in its place. That way we can start to come to see the true self through the lens of love. That way we start to actually like ourselves and relate to life from the energy or the vibration frequency of love, and that leads us to having a lot of different outcomes that we've been looking for a very, very long time. So your first step in taking this on is to give yourself a question, okay? And I'm a big fan of questions because they get us outside our cage, our conclusions, assumptions, judgments, and expectations, okay? And this question is, if you could, would you be willing to let go of 10% of the shame you feel about yourself just for now? And if you could do that, when would you do that? And then if you take on that challenge, I invite you to just listen to what comes up. What does that feel like for you? What's that like? And don't analyze it, just like, oh, it feels lighter. It feels like more space. It feels uncomfortable. Cool. Lean into that. Explore that space, because that's where you start to find who you are beyond the shame, okay? Now in Codependency Confidence, my system for helping this happen quickly, I lead you through a process called the HEAL process that makes this very simple and very quick, so that shame suddenly doesn't control your life anymore. Rather, love starts guiding your life and inspiring your life. Shame gets smaller as you do the process, love gets bigger, and voila, you're having an experience you've always wanted all your life. The sense of being loved, the sense of value, the sense of worth, a sense of being safe, being yourself, that kind of thing, okay? All right, so that's step number one. Step number two is we need to embrace our power. We need to retrieve it, and we need to start making choices from it. And this requires us to actively acknowledge where we have been denying our power in our situation. Or do we keep choosing unavailable, unhealthy, or toxic people? Okay, let's take our choice back and say, okay, I have a habit of choosing unavailable, healthy, or toxic people. How can I change this? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do here to choose healthy people? And if you don't have the answer to that, that's when you start some research. I can give you the answer to that. It's pretty easy. You start learning what healthy people feel like, sound like, act like, okay? We need to be able to tune into them and see them. But we need to start retrieving our power and owning it. Start owning our ability to control and take and shape our lives the way we want it. Because we have a lot more power than we think we do. Codependency has convinced us that our power should be in controlling someone else. Their feelings, their thoughts, their actions, their choices. And naturally that doesn't work, right? It's like herding cats. It's just not going to happen. We're naturally powerless over other people, places, and things. Everybody's powerless over other people, places, and things. Everybody, every single person is. Nobody has a special magical power to control other people, places, and things. They don't. If someone is controlling another person, it is through coercion or fear. See? That's not what we're going for. If we're going to truly be ourselves, then we need to embrace genuine power, because that's what real power is. Control and power are the same thing. Real power is say, hey, I have control over my choices and my actions, my feelings and my desires. I can start making different choices. I can choose different people. I can say no when the narcissistic, abusive, or toxic person shows up. I can say yes to the people that like me and that demonstrate healthy behaviors. And I can start getting used to this experience of being loved and included and wanted. So that's a place where we start to do that. So here's a question that will help you start this practice off for you. Today, where will you take your power back? What choice will you change that aligns you with love? That's where you start with taking your power back. Which leads us to step number 3. We need to start seeing the rightness in ourselves, okay? We've made these decisions. We've been in these relationships because we have been trying to get our needs met. There isn't necessarily a need to judge it, guys. It's just, oh, well, choosing this kind of person produces this kind of result. Is that what I want? Oh, okay, let's choose a different person, see if we get the result we want. Let's find out what kind of person typically gives those kinds of results. What kind of relationship will give me love, where I could contribute love and be respected, things like that. See, there's a rightness in our choices in that we're doing our best to get our needs and wants met and to keep ourselves alive. So we don't have to shame it. So we start accepting the rightness of ourselves. Additionally in this, we also start accepting the rightness of our wants, our needs, our feelings, our personality, our likes, our dislikes, our boundaries, our dreams, our hopes, our sense of humor. When we start looking at ourselves from the lens of rightness, it's like, this is good. I belong. This matters. This is where we start to heal deeply and start to get congruent with who we are. Because now, at step 1, we've been eliminating the shame and integrating love. Step 2, we've been embracing our power. Step 3, we're now able to put that power and love into effect in seeing the rightness of ourselves so that we can choose ourselves first. Okay? So here's how we can start step 3 off for you. What can you start to praise and appreciate about yourself today? Are you willing to receive that praise and appreciation? Think about that for a bit, because that's what's going to kick this off for you. Help you align back to you, because you're not shameful. There's nothing wrong with you. You deserve love. You're worthy. Now we need to start experiencing it, referencing it, honoring it, respecting it, so that we can get in contact with ourselves, which leads us to number 4. We need to rediscover our value and come to know real love, okay? Because we're hooked on approval. We've confused approval and attention with love. We need to know what real value is. We've confused value with output. We think that if I am perfect, I'm valuable. That's not true. If that's the consumer supply relationship coming through very clearly. But in real relationships, healthy relationships or connection-centered relationships, what's going on is a reciprocation of emotional awareness and presence with the beingness of the other person. So they're being present with us, we're present with them, we experience a sense of connection, understanding, being seen, being valued for our simple existence. That's our value being honored, okay? Value is not something you can measure. Intrinsic value or person value is not something that can be judged. It's not something you can improve or disprove, right? You can't change it. The only thing that can happen is we become less or more aware of it, less or more in tune with it, less or more congruent with it. Okay? It's through the experience of ourselves through the lens of love that we come to discover and understand our real value. It's really that simple. And that can be really hard to do because we're used to trying to prove ourselves. We're never going to prove our value, guys. That's not our job. Our job is to experience our value and be it. Go out and live your value. Through the lens of love, you'll know yourself very quickly. Now, what is love? Right? We often wonder what love is. Love is a warm and unconditional embrace of a person as is. Period. We take them as they are. Now, in codependency, we're usually like, yes, I'll take them as they are, but we got this fantasy of what we know they can be running in the background. No, that as is like, wow, yeah, they're an asshole. They treat me really badly. The way I experience pain in my relationship with them, that's an as is. Love is going to be very clear on that. It's going to say, yeah, this is how they treat us. What do you feel about that? Ooh, I don't like it. Oh, well, then love would say we leave it. Because love's not going to encourage you to stay in a relationship that causes you pain. It's going to have you choose yourself first because you honor and respect yourself. Okay? So love isn't all flighty-dighty like, ooh, we'll all be in harmony. No, love is like, yo, that's toxic. Let's leave. I was going to grab your hand and try to drag you out that door. Okay? So love's acceptance, but it's first an acceptance of ourselves and what's best for us. It will call us out on things that are harmful to us because it cares about our well-being. Okay? But when we really know our value, we experience and live from our value through the lens of love, then we're not going to be choosing these kind of scenarios anymore. We're going to be choosing a pattern of being kept. This is where we really get to experience genuine love, guys. Love for who we are, as we are. Boom, boom. That doesn't mean we have to go out and fix ourselves just to keep the person. Yeah, there might be some things that we need to improve in our skills in order to allow the relationship to continue to flourish, but that's normal, that's human. We get to improve our demonstration of love. We get to expand our awareness of our value and theirs. See, it's never about taking from our value or from love. It's just giving ourselves, skills are all about giving us the capacity to communicate and demonstrate our value and love. It's never about proving, okay? These are the 4 steps that you need to undertake, that you need to get into and work through in order to go from being discarded to being kept, to heal the discard trauma. Now, in these 4 steps, there's a lot of processes that can go on. Some of that is releasing trauma itself. We can do that through the closure technique. And some of it is, obviously discovering value, shaping our skills, building real connection with ourselves, healing internalized loneliness, love addiction, trauma bonding, releasing that shame and integrating love. And that's what Codependence to Confidence helps you accomplish. with its 3-step system, bring you back to your true identity through love, through the heal process, reconnecting with yourself through the addiction to connection system, and mastering the skills of happiness through Thrive strategy. Now, tomorrow I'm going to talk more about that process, that opportunity in those processes. So stay tuned for that, because you're going to get a special opportunity to enroll in Codependency Confidence. The door is only open for 24 hours. The pricing is only good for this round. The pricing will change next month. So if you're sitting here going, yes, Marshall, I would like more happiness. I would like to have a relationship I really want. Like my client who got married 2 weeks ago. Boom. Would you like to have a relationship where you would actually want to get married again? Most of us don't want to get married again because of what's happened in the past, but whoa, what do you think about that? How about just a relationship you like being in? You're not constantly trying to fix yourself or them. It's not about fights and conflicts. It's actually about play. It's about like, what do we get to do next? You get to do the things you've been thinking about for a long time. Like, hey, snuggles on the couch, or an adventure in the mountains. Hey, just an easy day. I get to come home and somebody cares about what went on. Boom. Simple things like that are often what we really start out at. But then you can reach into your brilliance. And you can start creating things that really expand you in your life. So I'll be talking more about that tomorrow. But today I want you to think about those 4 steps, those 4 questions, and begin your journey on reclaiming your value, power, love, and your identity. Okay? Thank you guys for showing up for this training. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.